I just want to tell you a little bit about this video that I recorded. I met a woman called Louise Spalding, and she is an incredible woman who channels a group of guides called Ananda, and she also channels Jesus. And she's channeled some books, and the latest is Jesus, My Autobiography, which was absolutely incredible. She's just so gracious and so knowledgeable, has so much wisdom, and she started channeling, gosh, I guess a couple of years ago, so not that long ago, after having studied and worked with the book A Course of Miracles for over a decade. She had this amazing Kundalini awakening. I'm going to put the link to her whole story below because I interviewed her just on her experience, and it was fantastic. So this video is Tina channeling. So I want you to enjoy it. Leave any comments below. Let me know what you think, and see you later. Okay, everybody. Tina's going to channel now. So she's going to tell us what she does, takes a few breaths, and all right, take it away.
Okay, so I'm going to bring Ananda through. They are they're a group consciousness, and they're the beings that first channeled through me. And all I have to do is I just close my eyes and I take one breath, and they come through. So that's what I'm going to do, and we will let them bring Jesus through. He doesn't have to have them introduce him, of course. He can come through straight away, but that's often how it happens. So I'm going to take a breath, and between Ananda and Jesus, you will see me go quiet for a couple of breaths. Jesus is a little slower coming through, and it's very, very clear when these guys arrive. So I'll see you at the end of the session. We are with you again, dear ones. We say welcome, welcome, welcome to all who are joining us in this most wonderful technology that you have. Some beings curse your technology, but of course, it is like anything. It is the intention with which you use it that really makes the difference. We are Ananda. We are non-physical beings. That means we are not bound by bodies as you are. And we are not bound by time as you are. So as you are listening to this broadcast, you can invite us to come and connect with you. We are not limited by the physical time-space reality that you are. It is illusory from our point of view. It is not illusory from your point of view. But what this allows us to do, it allows us to connect with all of you that are communing here with us. We want you to know that you are here for a reason. You have not turned this video on by mistake. It is yourself, your consciousness is now speaking to you through this particular medium. You have found us in all the thousands and millions of videos, in all of the opportunities for entertainment. You have come upon this video. And so we want you to pay attention to that. We want you to pay attention that you have brought this to yourself. This world is a reflective world. It is showing you your consciousness, your body, your life, your relationships, your work, the place you live in, the country you reside in, are all showing you your own consciousness. And this is the greatest change of attitude that you can have. When you begin to understand this, then you begin to understand why the practice of forgiveness is important. Because if your consciousness is being shown to you in the outside world, what happens when you judge it? You judge yourself. And that is exactly what Jesus meant when he said, "Judge not that ye be not judged." When you are looking at a reflective, responsive universe and you judge it and attack it and hate it, then you are going to suffer the consequences in a lowering of frequency. Essentially, what is happening when you look at the world and you look at something that is unacceptable and you judge it, you are hating a part of your own mind. And this is not what you are taught in this society. You are not taught that the world works this way. You are taught that it is objective and separate from you. But we are telling you, and there are many, many scientists now telling you this, that the world is a giant feedback system, and it is showing you your collective consciousness, your private life, your relationships, your body, your friends, your work. the house you live in, the neighborhood you live in, all of these things are showing you your personal relationship to yourself. But the world, the greater world out there, is showing you the collective mind. And this is
Okay.
your world is reflective. And so when you look out there and see the collective consciousness, you are contributing to it. You are contributing to it with your fear. You are contributing to it with your judgment, and you are contributing to it with your belief in separation, demonstrated by these things. And so this is where our teachings are challenging, because we are really asking you to look at the world in a completely different way. We are asking you to look at the world as your mirror. You've heard this idea, but when you really begin to think about what that means that the Syrian refugee crisis is a demonstration of the conflict that is going on in the collective minds of all of you. So you are not separate from these things. And this is where your inner work becomes so important. You are trained in your society to be active. You are trained in your society not to sit quietly and meditate. You are trained in your society to be productive, always acting out in the world. And this is why your world is in the mess that it is in, because you have been taught incorrectly. You have for millennia been told untruths, and in fact you have been lied to about what is valuable and what is good. What is good is your alignment with love. That is where your truth is. You have a guidance system, and it is how you feel. When you are feeling at peace, when you are feeling good, when you are feeling enthusiastic and happy, you are on the right path for you. When you are feeling hard done by, or fairly treated, or upset at someone else's behavior, feeling bad, you have stepped off the path of love. Your guidance system is directly tuned into your map. Your map is the gift that you were given before you were born. It was designed and implemented with your guides and teachers before this incarnation. And it is specifically designed for you and only you. So when you listen to someone else's advice, or when you compare yourself to someone else, you are not listening to your own guidance system. Your guidance system, that feeling self, that thing in you that says, I don't want to do this anymore, is your path to love. And this is not what you are taught. You are taught that feelings are unreliable. You are taught that intellect is valuable. And this is why you have become so lost in your society, because you have been taught to override your guidance system. And what is that guidance system? That guidance system is your direct connection to love. Your guidance system is spirit speaking to you and through you. And so as you go through your training program in your society, you are repeatedly taught to override your guidance system from the time you are a little child. You are told to sit still when you want to run. You are told to be quiet when you have something to say. You are told, no, you can't go outside. It is raining. No, you can't climb that tree. You will get your clothes dirty. The child knows. The child is curious, is enthusiastic, is passionate, and they are driven by that guidance system. But in your society, it is quelled so early on that most of you have lost touch with it. And a lot of you have built a life that is based on overriding it. And that is the hardest thing for you at the beginning stages of your spiritual evolution, because many of you have very complicated structures like jobs and marriages and mortgages and car payments that are based on you continuing to do what it is you are doing. And if you are going inside and listening to your inner guidance and your true self, that deep part of you, that heart of you is telling you that you don't want to do this anymore, then that is where trouble starts. And of course, it manifests classically in the midlife crisis, where somebody literally says, I cannot do this anymore, and they leave the life that they have built upon the conditioned ideas and teachings of your society, and they break free From our side, a midlife crisis is something to cheer about. And from our side, a nervous breakdown often is something to cheer about too, because a nervous breakdown for many beings is their true self refusing to conform any longer, refusing to toe the line anymore, refusing to do that life that does not make them happy anymore. From the point of view of those beings witnessing that breakdown, they will say it's a terrible thing. She can no longer go to work. She isn't having a shower. She is acting like a crazy person. But the truth of the matter is, for a lot of you, there is a part of you inside that is screaming for freedom, that is screaming for creativity, that is screaming for something other than what you have. And what we want you to know is that that is why we are here. We are here to begin to help you find that part of yourself. We are here to return you to love. And to do that, we must redefine love. And so that is what we are doing through this channel. We are bringing through different messages and lessons and books about what love is, where to find it, how it feels, how to get there. And we want you to take it slowly. We want you to take it gently. And yes, we do suggest that you read these books, because within the pages of these texts are the teachings that explain how to go on this journey, this return to love, this return to your true self that has become lost in the trainings and teachings of your Western world. Now, there was a great teacher on your planet once, and his name was Jesus. And of course, we are closely allied with him. He is teaching through this being. And we also want to remind you that this being is doing this work of bringing this message through because she has to. This is her life's work. We are not forcing her hand. This is a choice, but it has not and is not always an easy choice for her. So we want you to think about the courage that it takes to do this work. We want you to think about the journey that she has been on, because it is the journey that you are all going to go on. It is the journey of coming to know yourself. It is the journey of learning that it is okay not to conform to your society's wishes and constraints. And it is a demonstration of courage. You are going to need to become courageous. You have trained to become fearful. You have been trained to be judgmental. And these are some of the ideas in your mind that this being is demonstrating. She is a very clear channel, and that is why so many of us are eager to use her as what we would say a crack in the veil. There is an interruption between our world and your world, and it is one of frequency. What this being has done is raise her frequency up so that we can reach her. And that is what we are encouraging all of you to do. And that is what Jesus taught when he was on the earth plane so many years ago. His teachings have been distorted and contaminated and have been used to inflict suffering and restriction on human beings. And that is not what he taught at all. And he has come back in this form through this channel to begin to teach once again. And so we are not only honored to use this channel, she is a dear one to us, but we are also honored to be working closely with this being of high frequency. And so we will pass our dear one over now to Jesus, and he will speak to you. I am that one you know as Jesus, and I am here to tell a new story. I am here to undo much of the damage that has been done in my name. And yet, this sounds difficult. This sounds like a very dark and heavy story, but it is not so. I am here to talk about love. I am here to talk about forgiveness, and I am here to bring forth the teachings that I brought forth so many years ago on this earth plane. Now, my physical incarnations are done. That is a part of your consciousness evolution. You are in a body now. You are seemingly faced with mortality. But these teachings are about immortality. They are about overcoming the physical world. But to do that, you must stop believing in the physical world so much. You must stop valuing the physical world so much. And this is a frightening prospect because you have chosen to come here. You were not forced here. You are here by choice. You came down into separation. And we mean separation from love because that is where you were. And that is where we are now. We are reunified. We are at one once again with unity consciousness, with all that is God, if you want to call it that. But it is a loving, benevolent, all accepting, all forgiving force that is at play outside of your world. And this is the hard part for you as we bring these teachings through, because you have been taught millennia upon millennia that what I was the only son of God, and that is not so. I am a son of God. I am a enlightened son of God, and you too are a daughter or son of God. You are no different than I. You are merely further back along the road away from love. I reunified with love. I became completely aligned with love so that there was nothing else contained within my mind, and that is what precipitated my ministry on the earth so many years ago. You saw the actions and abilities of a being in total alignment with all that is, with love. And that is what I was teaching. I was teaching through demonstration what a human being can become. You can all become that. You can all allow Christ consciousness into your own consciousness. But what you do not understand are the things that you are doing that are preventing that. And that is what this ministry now is about. We are freer in some ways to bring forth this teaching when we are not in a body. And that is an ironic thing. Many of you who say, well, this cannot be Jesus, this is some crazy woman speaking, demand a body as proof. But what we say to you is that the body is the opposite of proof. The body is, in fact, a demonstration of separation. The body is a low frequency aspect of who you are. And that is what I overcame in the physical life that you know as the life of Jesus. I overcame the physical material world. And so I am not going to go back into it to prove anything to anybody, because it is the opposite of what I am teaching. I am teaching that consciousness is not the body, that the body is merely a temporary vehicle that you use. And that is what my crucifixion was to demonstrate. I had already mastered the physical material world when I went to that experience. And I went to that experience because I was going to prove to my disciples and those beings who were close to me that I could overcome death. And that is exactly what I did. I demonstrated through that crucifixion experience that the body was nothing to me. It was not a sacrifice. I did not give up anything. I showed up a few days later with a new body. I had already manufactured a new body. And that is what the point of the crucifixion was. It was not to sacrifice myself for future sins. This is an illogical thought. It makes no sense. I was demonstrating that I was not my body, that my body was meaningless to me, that I had mastered the physical world, and that was what my resurrection was. The church focused on the wrong thing. The church focused on the death and the suffering to bring fear into your hearts and minds. I was teaching about the overcoming of the body, overcoming physical death, so that you would be inspired, so that you would see that you have access to the eternal, so that you can see that you are as holy as I was and am. And so this is one of the fundamentals of your society, that suffering and sacrifice is a holy thing. And this is where much of your pain historically has been inflicted upon you in my name. I have returned to take my name back. My name should not cause you fear. My name should not cause anything unpleasant to arise in you. If it does, it is an untruth. I was a teacher of love. I was a teacher of compassion. I was a teacher of wisdom. And I was instructing people in how to raise their frequency so that they too could tap into eternal life. And that is what you saw being demonstrated in my healings. And that is what you saw being demonstrated in the resurrections in which I participated. And not only my own, I was able, because of this frequency that I held, I was able to bring others back from their low frequency death. You see, death is exactly that. It is an experience you have when you are locked in the material, when you believe in the body and you are fear-driven and closed off from these higher realms. And how are you closed off from these higher realms? You are closed off from these higher realms by your judgments and your fears and your lack of knowledge. And that is why we are here now. We are here to bring forth truth. We are here to bring forth knowledge, and we are here to instruct you on how to raise your frequency. So we will take a question from you, dear one, who are spreading this gospel now so well. We are very, very happy to be in conversation with you. So feel free to ask us a question.
Thank you. There's so many questions. Oh my goodness. Okay, so when you say that you made a new body, then what did you do with that new body? Because I know in the Bible it said that they came and moved the rock. The rock was moved and your body was gone. So if you made a new body, did you go somewhere else and live out a life and die like a regular man? Or what happened there?
The experience of mastery of the physical material world is not a one-time trick, we would say. It is something that continues. So essentially, your body is being manufactured by you second by second. You, in actual fact, are doing the same thing, but you are doing it unconsciously. You are unaware of it. So you, in fact, are resurrecting your own body second by second, and it is showing you your frequency. And this is what health and sickness are. And so all I did was become conscious of that act. Your body is manufacturing cells, your body is pumping blood, your heart is beating, your brain is firing wonderfully, your lungs are filling with air, and it is all being done by your consciousness. It is being done unconsciously, however. My lessons and my instruction and growth on the earth plane taught me how to do that consciously. So I was able to manufacture a body at will. And that is what I learned to do in the 3 years from my enlightenment to my crucifixion. Now, this crucifixion seems like a disastrous end to a very, very nice life. But the truth of the matter is that my time as a physical being was done. I had a certain ministry, I had a certain assignment, and my assignment was over at that point as an ordinary physical human being. So what happened in my resurrection was that the body that seemed to die, the body is never really alive in the way that you think it is. It is your consciousness that is animating the body. When you see a corpse, you are seeing actually what the body is. The body is an inanimate object that has no desires or will or opinions of its own. The body infused with consciousness is what you are seeing here. Now you are seeing a demonstration here of a body that has its own consciousness that is sharing its body with another consciousness. This, of course, must bring up some questions. Consciousness is not attached to the body, and that is what I learned to do in my physical incarnation. I learned to remove my consciousness from my body and master the manufacturing of a body. And so in that experience, the body seemed to be killed. I just left my body. It was a conscious decision. My consciousness left that body and brought into being another body. And because I was not there to maintain that body, it essentially faded from existence. Now, this is not what normally happens to bodies because they are of a low frequency. But in my circumstances, I was able to deconstruct that body and remove it from your reality, if you want to look at it that way. And that is what I am able to do now. I am able to manifest a body at any time. Many of you have met me. Many of you have encountered me in your travels. So you may not recognize me because I do not necessarily manufacture a body that looks like all those paintings in your Bible. I look the way I choose to look for the benefit of the lesson that is being taught. And so this teaching is coming through in this form because it challenges your society's beliefs about what a body is and what consciousness is. The fact that this being is channeling this information, the fact that this being is bringing through information that she cannot access on her own is a lesson in and of itself. And in and of itself, it will bring up questions in the minds of everybody who is watching this. They will say, well, it cannot be Jesus. He would not talk to us this way. Well, that shows you a belief about what you think I am. I was an ordinary person who was teaching ordinary people in my life. That is what I did, and that is what I do. The opinion that you have me of this being that would never talk to ordinary people is the lie that was perpetuated by the church to keep you separate from the true teachings that I brought through, which is that you are all divine aspects of God mind, and you all have the ability to shift your consciousness. You all have the ability to raise your frequency so that you are manufacturing your body consciously, so that you do not have to suffer sickness, so that you do not even have to suffer death. Yes, if you practice these frequencies, if you bring yourself out of the world of judgment, out of the world of the material physical, and into the world of love, higher and higher, bit by bit each day, you are going to see miracles happening in your own body. You are going to see spontaneous healings. You are going to see the aging process change. And you are going to see that you can live much longer than you believe you can. Your experience is showing you your beliefs, and you die because you believe in death. What we want you to come to understand is that if you stop believing in death and you start believing in everlasting life and love, you are going to have a completely different physical experience. And that is what I demonstrated. I demonstrated it so that you could see it. And once I manufactured a new body, and that became a very, very easy thing for me to do, given my frequency, I continued to live and teach on the world for some time after that apparent death. I took Mary and our two children. Yes, we were married and we had children, and we traveled to the south of France, and she lived out her life there, and I would visit her. And for some time we continued on as a married couple, but she did not flaunt our relationship. I would come to see her in the quiet and privacy of our own home. Nobody knew that. It was not done out of fear. It was done out of respect for her life. I had chosen to live a particular kind of incarnation, and she and the children wanted to live a quiet, safe and rural existence, and the life that I was living was not that, as you know by looking at the history of it. It was challenging, but over the years, as she continued to age in a normal way, our relationship changed and shifted from a physical marital relationship into one of pure spiritual love. And eventually I stopped coming into that relationship regularly because I was called to higher realms. That was where I was destined to be, and that is where I reside now. But I do come into the physical material world as required and do it all the time. So do not think that this is a special occasion. It is not. It is something that I do frequently. There are many beings who are in contact with me, and I would like to say at this point that this is an important time in your Earth's history, and that if you would like to begin conscious contact, then begin to study the book called A Course in Miracles. It is a realignment for the mind and heart, and it is infused with a high frequency that will assist you on this journey into awakening. So we are going to take a small break and allow this being to take a breath and to have a drink, and we will return if you want us to.
Thank you very much.